What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I did a little bit of digging, and I wanted to get into a conversation, which I think will be interesting, hopefully, for some folks out there that are wondering, like, one, is it worth it to play the game? But two, and this is where I really want to focus, is it worth it to play at the highest levels? So we're going to take a quick look here at what some of the top earners are getting in the game. Now you can see Vet V, shout out to Brandon, who is in the top spot here. And if we just take a quick look at how much SPS he's earning, 36, 35.8, 36, and another 35.8. Fantastic, right? But you might not be the top player in the game, but can you be in the top 100? Potentially, right? There's not that many people in the game, or at least not that many people playing in Modern. You can see I've dropped all the way down to Silver. I'm not even playing, and I'm in the top 1,000 players of the game, right? So let's go here to actually the 100th person, and the thing that I want to check here is how much they are earning per game, which is 27 SPS, 25.2, 27, and another, oh, this is that's a tournament. Whoops. Okay. And 27. So I wanted to just show this to you guys so that you would see it here on the screen. I've done the math already separately, and this math is going to be so rough. So just go with me on this. You can double check my math as well outside. Now, what I want to focus on, and we'll just go quickly over here to the tools, is the set value. So let's say you were a new player in the game, or let's say you're even you right now, right? And maybe you already have some of these costs already covered. Well, in a recent video, I talked about the fact that Chaos Legion is going for the cheapest it's ever been, right? You can see Chaos, oh, it's actually under $1,000 now. That's kind of crazy. So $1,000 for Chaos Legion. You have 1,600 here or 1,700 here for Rift Watchers, right? And this is to max out Rift Watchers. And then with Rebellion, you are getting, let's see, 6881. So if my rough math is correct, right? 6881 plus, we'll just say 1,700 plus another 1,000. Okay. So that comes out to about $9,500. Now, I did my math a little bit. I rounded my numbers quite differently. And the way that I'm looking at it is this, right? Let's say you were to spend $9 grand getting all of the cards that you need. And that's the important part there. Not every single card, but just all of the cards that you need. And I know I'm not counting like the Chaos Legion rewards cards, which we could probably even see what are the rewards Chaos going for. This has got to be like pennies, $100. Okay, so that's negligible. So my whole point was like, okay, let's say you spend $9,000, and on the $9,000, you may not even be buying every single card that you need. You might hold some out for renting. And at this point, you may even decide that you want to buy some SPS, right? And again, I'm not even factoring SPS into this because I think that you could just rent whatever you need right now. It's still relatively cheap. So the buy-in is roughly $9,000, right? Hell, you know what? Let's make this even more conservative. Let's say you round it up to 10,000 just to make it super easy. So when you multiply the 25 SPS you could be winning per game, and value SPS at 1.5 cents, which it is right now, I think it's about $4.50 per day, about $1,600 to $1,700 per year. Now again, this is not a financial channel, this is not financial advice, but we are going to talk about ROI, right? You would be able to make $1,600 to $1,700 a year. That's just from ranked play. That's just from doing 12 battles, right? Your 12 daily battles. That's not counting brawls. That's not counting the staking rewards you would get from any SPS that you either earn and stake or that you own and stake. And of course, that's not counting for tournaments if you participate in those. So I would actually increase that number again, right, to, I don't know, maybe like 20%. Oh, sorry, 2,000, right? A couple $100 there throughout the course of the year, which means that you could be getting a return of anywhere between like 15 to 20% on your investment, right? So ROI, annual return, you'd pay this thing off in 5 years. And I know a lot of things can change in 5 years, but it's a 20% ROI. When you think about again, if you're going to compare this to other investments, especially passive investments like crypto, like DeFi, or even just putting it into your savings account, right? You right now, at least in the US, interest rates are so high that you could just earn 5% for literally doing nothing, right? Or you could earn 11% on SPS for doing nothing, right? That's what the staking reward is right now. Or pick your favorite LP, and again, each of these is going to have their own risks profiles and whatever the case is. But my whole point is that if you enjoy the game and you actually want to try and be a top tier player at it, you'd still be making a decent amount per day or per year, right? To bring it in. Now, the risk of this all, right? Because even though it may sound good, and I think it is, I think that's actually quite good, because here's what we're comparing to. You have to keep perspective in mind. You are comparing to Web 2. And in Web 2, people spend tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on games that they really like and then don't get anything out of it. Here, at the very least, you're going to own your cards. You're going to own the assets. You're going to own whatever SPS that you earn. It's tradable, right? And you have the choice of what you would like to do with it. Now, the big question comes, and this is probably the biggest risk here, in my opinion, is the value of Rebellion. So, your initial investment is going to be $10,000, of which, almost 70% of that is going to be Rebellion cards with where Rebellion is at right now. But if Rebellion goes down in value significantly, well, all of a sudden it's like you don't have that same leverage. You don't have that same value. If you wanted to recoup it later, right? We saw what happened with Chaos Legion. And, I don't... At this point in time, we have not seen anything that signals to me that old cards have the ability to hold their value. Now, that is very different from old cards not having utility, because there is utility for old cards. You can play with them forever, right? Which I think is fantastic. And if you enjoy just collecting, then that's cool. There is land, right? And land is still in the beginning stages. But, it's not like Rebellion cards in 3 years are going to be super duper valuable for land or for anything else. I mean, maybe, hopefully. But in my opinion, that is where the risk lies, right? So you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, okay, 20% ROI, you can make $2,000 a year over the next couple of years, right? Potentially, as long as you're active with it. But that that $10,000 investment, 7,000 of it could be cut in half like that, right? And I'm talking, the snap signifies when Rebellion rotates out of modern format, right? And again, I don't know. There could be other things that come up. Maybe cards are just deemed, not as valuable as they were before. Maybe you go all in on something like Grim Bardoon Smith and they come out with the Grim Bardoon Smith killer, right? So it's like, you never know what could happen. And obviously, when you're going into that, you're paying the price at that point in time, at that point in value. And you have to value it as something that's going to give you enjoyment, rather than, okay, like this card's going to be worth more, or it's going to hold its value because it's always going to be part of the meta. I think, this is why I don't invest in cards. Sorry to be a broken record about this, but this is why I don't invest in cards, right? Because it's just not it's hard. Timing the market and figuring out markets as it is difficult, but then you have game metas and stuff that is completely out of your control. And even somewhat centralized, right? Like the team is the one that's creating the abilities and cards and sets and stuff. So at the end of the day, if you're going to buy the cards, if you're going to go in on this, it's got to be something that you enjoy and that you got to be willing to play for the long haul. And I hate to say it, but you have to, in certain aspects, kind of expect the value of what you paid to go down, which sucks, right? Because that's not where we want to be. And if anything, Rebellion, out of my time here, whether it's Rebellion, Rift Watchers, or Chaos Legion, Rebellion has held its value quite well. I mean, Rift Watchers did for a time too, but we're seeing that fall now. But Rebellion, well, okay, it looks like somebody just bought a bunch of packs. But, the Rebellion estimated value, or a bunch of cards, I should say. The Rebellion estimated value is probably, at its peak right now, staying above the $4 price tag of what these packs cost, right? Even though the packs are going for less than $4 on the secondary market. So that's what you have to weigh in on this. And again, I have to stress that this is for players only. And No, that doesn't mean that investors aren't allowed, but you have to be somebody who's like wanting to play the game, willing to play the game, and understand like these cards are going to give you value and utility that you can't quite quantify, right? Because once again, if you're just looking at this from a numbers game, go buy some SPS and stake it, right? Go open up a savings account, go invest in Apple, right? Or invest in whatever your favorite stock is. Don't come here and then complain about like, I mean, you can complain about it. It's your choice. But my whole point with this is that the expectation should be there that what you're buying and purchasing is partially entertainment that you don't get to retain the value of. And what do I mean by that? Well, think about when you go watch a movie, for example, at the theater, right? You don't go pay and then, after you're done, be like, well, where's my money? I didn't, like you're paying for the entertainment. And in this way, you're paying for the cards. And part of it is very much part of it is very much a gamble. I don't know what else to call it, right? Like it is a gamble because you don't know where the value of those cards are going to be in the future monetarily, but they could still have a lot of value for you just playing the game, right? Like I don't ever plan on selling my Dr. Blight unless Dr. Blight hits $100,000. If you ever want to buy Dr. Blight for $100,000 from me, a max one, regular foil, right? Completely used and abused, right? All the card edges are bent because I use it in every battle that I play. Hit me up. But you get what I'm saying, right? So I just wanted to share those numbers with you. I thought that they were interesting. What makes this fascinating, and I'll close with this, is that it would not take much in terms of SPS going up in value for those numbers to start to look ridiculous. And that is when I think the exciting part happens. And I know you're looking at that $10,000 price tag and thinking to yourself, yeah, I wouldn't do it. But guess what? Maybe you wouldn't, but there's a lot of degens out there who have money and are looking to find ways in which to expand that, especially in gaming. And so, we're at 1.5 cents now. We do 5x, which would be 7.5 cents. And I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility. This is not a price prediction. This is not whatever. If you don't believe that we can hit 7.5 cents for SPS throughout the entirety of this bull run, then I don't even know what you're doing here, right? But if you think we can hit 7.5 cents, I think that becomes fascinating because that ROI hits 100%, right? All of a sudden, you're making enough that you would recoup the costs in a year, and people love that. And then, if you want to get real crazy, real sexy with it, I mean, imagine if we hit 21 cents, right? Which would be essentially another 3x from there. We're talking about 200 to 300% returns. That is the kind of stuff that gets all these degens to come in, buy up all the cards, buy up all the SPS, and start playing, and that's when we can feel scarcity. But when that day comes, I don't know. Will that day come? No idea. But that is what the numbers look like as of today. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys in this video. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.